Good afternoon, friends. This is the lesson 32 of Advanced Molecular Therapy course. And for those who are not doing the course, this is two cases, one an avian hip, stage 3, both sides with good results with medical management, Hydrozone, MAHT and EVU. He is a high performance, high activity patient who is from the armed forces and demands absolutely full function. So here he had a hydrozone injection of his hip followed by a UVBI MAHT, and after oxidation we have to wait for 1 hour to give nutraceuticals and hydrogen. So he had his hydrogen and nutraceuticals after an hour and was extremely satisfied. Here we can see the pre-injection status. There is a 15-degree extensor lag, and for a high performance athlete 15 degrees is a handicap. So we are collecting just 2 ml of 2% lignocaine, adding 0.5% of Kinacort or Depo-Maderol. Low doses is chondroprotective, high doses is chondrodestructive. This is diluted to 10 ml. Hip joint can be distended by up to 20 ml and we can feel the resistance. So I always prefer to give at least 5 to 6 ml of the cocktail, but as a diluted cocktail is what we are aiming for, I am mixing 10 milliliters in the cocktail so that the whole thing becomes extremely dilute. Another 20 cc syringe is opened. This is going to take the hydrogen. The needle is saved because a sharp new needle can be used for injection subsequently. And a bivalve is taken. This is a 3-way. It is now put in a closed position, meaning the syringe will not be able to eject any gas inside it. So when I try to suck it, it will go back, and when I pull and fill the syringe, it will not go. This is a state where hydrogen has to be filled in the syringe. This is because hydrogen is a very light gas, can escape in a matter of moments, and unless rightly positioned in the syringe will not be contained. This is a new IAOS Mark II hydrogen machine, touch LCD touch screen. We are putting the concentration at 900 ml of hydrogen, and we are putting the time at about 2 hours. We can see the red light downstairs and water bubbling system, and now we connect the syringe to the generator, and we can see that the syringe is slowly filling up. Once the pressure builds, the syringe is filling up. It takes time for the pressure to build, and then the syringe. Hydrogen is a very light molecule, so unless the pressure is very high, it will not fill up. We have to wait till the filling up is done by on its own, and the syringe is kept inverted with the bottom to the ceiling, and then the bivalve is attached and the syringe is pushed and checked to ensure that there is no leak. The next is collecting ozone. We are collecting ozone at 100 gamma we have moved from 70 microgram per ml to 100 micrograms per milliliter, and as the regulator is on 1/16th in a Mark 7 machine, the upshoot of the syringe is at a slightly lower speed, and this is the syringe filled up. The machine is closed and the two bivalves are locked. I do not do it in an operation theatre. I do not use a C-arm. I use an anterolateral approach where I can enter the hip capsule directly. I use a slightly longer needle. I am cleaning the lower portion of the iliac crest, and in such a thin and muscular person, a 1.5 to 2 inch needle should enter the head at the neck, touch the neck and enter the capsule. You can see that I have used a long needle. No, there I have changed the needle to a longer one and then it goes into the hip. You can see that the hip is entered, and very freely, without much pressure, we are able to inject 5 ml. If we leave the syringe, the flow back, as you see, I am showing the flow back. Push and leave it, it will flow back. That shows that the needle is in the joint. Now, the double barrel assembly with hydrogen and ozone is attached to the same needle. We first inject hydrogen 10 ml, change the position of the lower lock, and then inject ozone 10 ml and remove the needle instantly. Multiple punctures should be avoided. The whole procedure was pain free. Anyway, this patient had a very high pain tolerance. The next step is giving him MAHT or major autohemotherapy. Here we are taking 5 ml of heparin, 1000 units per ml, making a total of 5000 units. This 5000 units is now used to heparinize the bottle and make it primed. The MAHT bottle has 3 marks. The smallest circle is for heparin, the larger circle is for blood, and the plus mark is for ozone. You can see the syringe getting emptied gradually. Another syringe, another vial of 5 ml heparin 1000 unit per ml is now extracted, and this will be used to not only prime the drip set but also to prime the butterfly. We can see that the special ozone blood transfusion set is held at a height, and we allow the heparin to flow through it to the bottom till it touches the filter bulb. Once it touches the filter bulb, we can block the lower portion. We now open a butterfly. The remaining heparin, which should be about 1 ml or 2 ml, should be put into the tip of the butterfly, and the balance allowed to flow out. We can see that it is flowing out nicely. This is now connected to the transfusion set. The set is pulled out of an ultraviolet blood irradiation chamber, and that is why the tip is still kept in place. Now a tourniquet is applied. The lock chamber for blood inflow and outflow should be sufficiently closer to the patient so that we can handle it properly. A vein is anchored. The instant the butterfly, here an 18 gauge butterfly enters, the blood comes into the butterfly. The set is put into the bottle and the flow opened. The instant the flow is opened and the vein is in position, blood will start gushing. Blood will flow against the gravity and start filling into the bottle, because the vacuum bottles have got high vacuum in them. Occasionally, because the too high vacuum, the veins might collapse and the blood flow might stop. In that case, the nurse has to just press the plastic part of the butterfly downstairs and the flow will resume again. A syringe is taken, ozone is shown to the patient, he is smelling the ozone, that is what the ozone left over from the hydrozone is there. Fresh ozone is now drawn. Again, we have switched on to 100 microgram per ml of ozone and about 70 ml of blood for an MAHT procedure. For an EBU procedure, the doses that IAOS recommends are significantly higher than those recommended in the textbooks. Ozone, because the concentration is higher, it is coming at a slower speed. The syringe is taking time to fill up, that is now filled up, and a needle 17 gauge is attached, thicker the better. The needle is bent at 90 degrees using the needle cover. The tourniquet is removed. The patient is asked to relax his hand into the plus mark. The needle is pushed. The ozone will gush in suddenly, causing bubbles in the blood, which you can see, and then at this instant, the bottle is inverted, the syringe is removed, the small air bubble in the tube is tapped up, which being lighter than the blood goes up into the bottle. The bottle is pushed into the ultraviolet radiation chamber. The UV lights are switched on. The patient and the surgeon, along with the staff, are advised to wear ultraviolet proof goggles. The blood flow is started at full speed, and as the vein is good, in about 6 to 7 minutes, the procedure is completed. This is a procedure for UVBI MAHT. You can see the ozone bubbles in the empty glass bottle. Borosilicate flint-free glass bottles have to be used for IBU, and there should be for MAHT, and there should be no compromises. Blood bags are contraindicated. All the remaining blood is allowed to flow out, and once the blood mark reaches to the butterfly end, the flow is stopped, butterfly is removed, padded and strapped. Ozone is an oxidant while hydrogen and nutraceuticals are antioxidant. So, a heparin syringe is used to flush the butterfly and we wait for 1 hour before we start the hydrogen and nutraceutical infusion. So, we start mixing the various nutraceuticals into a saline set which is hung near the patient. The final infusion has not yet started. It will start exactly 1 hour before the 1 hour after the completion of ozonization. So, a 100 ml saline bottle is hung upside down, an air vent is put. First 5 ml of normal saline, now 5 ml of vitamin C equivalent to 25 grams is injected. Then 1 ampule of vitamin B12 and an ampule of B complex is then injected. As far as possible, use new needles to inject from the top and leave the needle in place, because we are going to push hydrogen at 600 ml per minute in a 100 ml bottle. We start hydrogenating the bottle first. Use a saline set with a lower lock, preferably without any rubber in that. Anyway, hydrogen does not react with rubber, so even if it has got rubber, is not much of concern. Use an 18 or 19 gauge needle so that the hydrogen can be diffused in the bottle. So we can see that one end of the drip set, the bulb end, is pushed into the hydrogen tube, and the green needle is pushed into the bottom of the infusion, and we can see that hydrogen is bubbling in the bottle. Because the pressure of hydrogen, as our nutraceuticals are spraying out, we are putting the transfusion set into the bottom. Now at this stage, priming the bulb, removing the air and readying it for the transfusion. Already the butterfly is in the patient's arm, and so it is a simple matter to remove the syringe and attach the transfusion set. Hydrogen bubbled nutraceutical solution is now gently imbibed by the patient. Next step is adding levocartin for the patient, because he was a high performance athlete and posted on the borders, a major in the Indian Army. So I wanted to give him levocartin. This is again injected into the bottle from the top. So the nutraceutical solution is being continuously bubbled by hydrogen and has not yet been started into the patient. We have waited 1 hour since the ozone infusion, and thereafter you can see the bubbles of hydrogen in the diffuse solution. Such clear bubbles I have not seen in a long time. The primed set is now attached to the patient, and the speed started. The micro bubbles of hydrogen travel through the set Next, we are going to inject glutathione. In this patient, fairness is not a factor. However, I do get a large number of young ladies in search of fairness who come for nutraceuticals and glutathione injections. So, it comes with a 10 ml distilled water ampule. This is taken and mixed with the ampule of glutathione. We have to ensure that this step is done when about 40 out of the 100 ml has already been infused into the patient. Only when 30 to 40 ml of the solution remains should we inject this glutathione into the saline bottle. We can see that this is a hydrogen packed glutathione, and it is desirable to push in some air to ensure that the solution comes out easily. Costly injection, so we must ensure that the entire amount of dissolved solution is out. This now is injected into the same saline bottle, and the flow started to the patient. As glutathione is a rapidly oxidizing molecule, fast flow might cause some burning sensation. You can see the wonderful hydrogen bubbles in the drip set. We give a swab soaked in sanitizer to the patient and ask him to gently rub the area above the venflon site so that he does not get pain when the material is flowing in. The transfusion of glutathione must be concluded within 14 minutes because it is a very rapidly oxidizing product. Once the flow is over, we allow the last of the glutathione to go into the body. Normally, after nutraceuticals and hydrogen drip, we give a very light sticker on the vein site. But here, because 1 hour prior, now actually 1.5 hours prior, ozone MAHT was given to the subject, we must wait and put a tight bandage. The hydrogen machine is now switched off, all the controls are off, and we attach a gauze and put a tight elastic bandage on the venesection site with instructions to the subject or patient that he should not remove the bandage for a minimum of 5 hours. Because of the heparin given earlier, if the bandage is removed in a hurry, it might bleed. So it is taken, pressed and a bandage can be applied. This is an elastic bandage and stays for minimum of 4 hours, and the patient is strictly instructed not to remove the bandage. Next is a photograph of the patient showing his hip movements, which are absolutely equal on left and right side. We had the same shown earlier, and now you can appreciate the difference. We have asked him to abduct it a little more, and he has abducted a little more, and it looks brilliant. And then is the X-ray of the patient at the end of 18 months of treatment. Ficart grade 2 on right side and Ficart grade 3 on left side. I have missed to put the X-ray of the patient in the beginning, the earlier X-rays, but we have incorporated the current X-ray taken on 17th January when this video is being recorded. Now let us move on to the next case. The next subject is none else but IAOS Junior Scientific Officer Arunima, and she is having a regular dose of hydrogen, glutathione and nutraceuticals. This video will also show the new hydrogen machine IAOS Mark II, the unpacking and usage of Mark II hydrogen machine. You can always message me on the above number for additional details about anything. The number is included at the end of the talk. The Mark II machine is like 17 kilos in weight. It comes with a power cable, breathing tubes, instruction manuals. The machine has a handle and wheels. To lift it out of the table, we need to take out all the paddings, and then it is better to hold it from the bottom and lift it out rather than lifting it from the top. This has got wheels for dragging it on the floor. For portability, the wheels can be locked. This produces 300 of hydrogen from left vent, 300 of hydrogen from right vent, and 300 of oxygen from middle vent, making a total of 900 ml, and has got LCD screen, not an LED screen. The top is opened. 2 liters, 1.6 liters of distilled water is poured. There is a distilled water indicator which will clearly say whether the water is high level, low level or medium level. You must ensure that the level is medium, is not high or not low. In both cases the machine won't work. The plug is inserted into the back, the plug socket. Here this procedure room itself is an UPS room, so we are not worried about the voltage fluctuations. If you are using it in a clinic, either have a central UPS or a voltage stabilizer. Once the switch is on, the LCD display will glow and the machine will tell you when it is ready. It's a touch screen, so once the machine gets ready and warmed up, you can touch the screen and it will become operational. You can touch the screen even with a glove. That shows the flow, which can be adjusted from 300, 450, 600, from 150, 300, 450, 600, 750 and 900. We are increasing the volume or concentration of oxygen, and hydrogen, and at 900 ml, once the red light starts glowing and the water bubbles start traversing, the machine is in operation and is producing molecular hydrogen of 99.9% concentration. So the two 300 ml units join together and produce the hydrogen. The central port is producing oxygen at 300 ml per minute. This oxygen can be attached to a regulator and used for ozone production. We take a 100 ml of saline bottle. The first step is to push an air vent because we are going to push 600 ml of hydrogen per minute into a 100 ml bottle, and obviously the volumes are pretty high, and thus this will ensure that the pipe doesn't burst out and blow back. It is preferable to use a lure lock with a syringe. Initial stages we were cutting the drip set, but now we have special tubes in which we can push a normal saline set and the hydrogen will be bubbled into the saline bottle. We push the bulb end into the bottle and then we connect a needle to the lure end and the needle is pushed near the entry of the 100 ml saline bottle, and you can see that hydrogen is bubbling into the bottle comfortably. The bottle has not been opened and not been primed. We now mix the water soluble vitamins and also vitamin C. Glutathione will be mixed at the last moment because being a fast oxidizing molecule, it has to be completely administered within 10 to 14 minutes. First is 1 gram of vitamin C. Each time we give an injection, it is better to leave the needle alone. Arunima is getting acetylcysteine also, and here we go mixing 1 ampule of acetylcysteine, which goes into the nutraceuticals. It is important to remember that hydrogen is being continuously bubbled into the 100 ml saline. An ampule of vitamin B complex is now opened and taken into the same syringe, and another ampule of vitamin B12 is now extracted. So this makes a total nutraceutical wellness package which is really age regressive and also produces fairness of the skin as a side effect. The above is now injected. But before increasing the volumes of the 100 ml saline bottle, we have to reduce the content by adding a downflow and priming the saline solution. By now, about 7 to 8 minutes of hydrogen bubbling have been done and the solution is getting saturated. Only at this stage is a vein identified we use a very thin venflon as we treat veins with great caution. A 23 or 24 or 26 gauge needle is pushed into the vein, and once the blood is seen, we attach the solution and start bubbling, start transfusing slowly. Vitamin C is a little burning on the veins. We can actually see the bubbles in the solution. Next is mixing of glutathione. This mixing of glutathione with sterile water should commence only after about 30 to 40 ml of saline have been infused, and the same has to be infused into the bottle only after 70 ml of saline has been transfused, meaning only after 30 ml remain in the bottle. Now about 50 ml remain. Hydrogen is being bubbled constantly. We wait till about 30 ml remain. As glutathione oxidizes very fast, it has to be diluted at the last moment. The glutathione is diluted. IAOS glutathione is packed with hydrogen, and so it dissolves very rapidly, and once it is dissolved and there are no suspended particles in the bottle, we extract the solution, which will be 10 milliliters, the same as the water dissolved in the molecule, and the same is injected into the bottle, which now has about 40 ml of saline left. Hydrogen at 60 ml per minute is still being bubbled into the bottle. If we take a close-up view, we can see that there are hydrogen bubbles in the bulb of the bottle, and hydrogen is being bubbled constantly. Hydrogen is one of the most powerful antioxidants and is an age-reversing agent, and also works for vehicular pollution, industrial pollution, food additives, and other toxic elements that trouble us on day-to-day basis. Glutathione in itself produces skin fairness, but that is a side effect beneficial for which many models and movie actresses seek this therapy. This is mainly an age-reversing, anti-aging and wellness therapy. This is the new model IAOS Mark II hydrogen generator. For further details about this procedure or this machine, feel free to contact me at the above WhatsApp number. Please do not make phone calls. Send me text or voice messages only. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.